I'm a nanny for a high-profile family. I signed a very extensive and strict NDA. Anyone directly involved in my life, mom, dad, sis, and husband, also signed an NDA. The nanny family recommended this, to talk about the job without getting into any legal trouble or putting them at risk. Recently ran into one of my parents' neighbors, Amber, at the park. Amber asked how the new job was going, then proceeded to ask specifics about how it must be working for a family where the parents are, insert their jobs here. A direct violation of the NDA and something I could be fired and sued for. My dad isn't the sharing type, like at all, so I figured it was probably my mom. I asked her about it in a casual "Hey, how's Amber?" way. I said I ran into Amber at the park and that it was odd because she knew details about my job without me telling her. My mom simply shrugged and said, "That's funny. Maybe she Googled? Or saw something on social media?" My dad and sister absolutely hate Amber. They essentially said hell would have to freeze over before they spoke to her willingly. My dad ended our convo where I asked him about it by saying, "The only thing I know about her is that her son just made partner at a law firm in New York and is making bank, and that's only because mom saw it on Instagram and told me about it." Right then, I knew my mom lied to me and it was her. She and Amber love to one-up each other with their children's success, and I also just landed a great new job. I asked my mom about it again and she told me that I was being dramatic, making stuff up, and that she would never do that to me. My mom doesn't text people, only DMs on Instagram. I know her password, so logged in to check her messages. There was an extremely long DM to Amber where she shared their professions, children's names, ages, private school, general locations of their homes, how they pay really well, etc. Everything that we are legally not allowed to say, she said. I called her immediately and said that I logged into her DMs and saw the message she sent Amber that was a violation. She started screaming at me about how she is supposed to be able to trust her daughter. She can't believe I hacked into her Instagram, that mothers should be allowed to brag about their children, and then she hung up. It has been a week without contact between the two of us. We used to speak every single day. I am starting to believe that maybe I'm the idiot here for violating her trust like that. My husband says if anyone violated trust here it is her, and that I gave her ample opportunity to tell the truth before I intervened and sought out the truth myself. He constantly reminds me that they could sue us into the ground, and fire me, for endangering my nanny family's well-being. Because truthfully, Amber could easily be a psycho fan or sell the information to someone who is. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I don't think your mom gets how bad this. I sign NDAs all day every day for what I do. I work in Hollywood and it's part of the job. Your mom doesn't get that her violating this NDA is not just breaking the trust with this family. It will ruin all potential job opportunities. It really will. The chance of you being able to find another job after word gets out you violated an NDA. It won't be easy. Not at all. Also, this is why my mom and I don't talk about my work at all. Luckily, I live 3K miles away, so that helps. Not the idiot. Ordinarily, I'm not a fan of snooping. But she put your, apparently awesome, job at risk and potentially opened your family up to legal liability. All to one-up a frenemy. You needed to know who the leak was in case anything got back to your employer. Your mom is the one who cannot be trusted, she is just trying to turn the tables on you. I seriously hope you have a record of your mom's DM, because you're going to need it. If not, get that screenshot or record ASAP. Then strict no contact with mom. Get a lawyer, and ask their advice before doing anything or telling anyone else. Honestly, probably should delete this post too. Signed, someone whose family has had our fair share of accidental legal problems. I, 15, live with my parents, mid-40s, and my brother, 9. It's always been a dream of my parents to adopt. Me and bro are bio kids, and they had come to the decision that they want to adopt an older kid. They got matched with Jess, who is 13. Due to the current situation, she is not living with us, but we've met before and she spent a weekend with us in January. Jess, despite sometimes being sweet and kind, is very high maintenance and has a lot of anxiety and anger problems. She can go from 0 to 1,000 really quick. During her stay, she got triggered by something when we were in public. She and I went to a clothes shop and my parents were in a cafe nearby. Some guy accidentally grabbed her by her shoulder as he thought she was his daughter, and he apologized immediately, and started screaming. I was the only person there, and I tried to calm her down, but she ran off. She was found, shaken, but safe, an hour later. I then got grounded as I had failed in being responsible for my sister. I said I didn't have a sister. My parents were angry about this and said that how dare I be rude about her, don't I know how much she's been through. She's had other outbursts, but none so huge in public. She can be cold and untrusting and was very clingy to my parents. I do admire her, and think she's very brave, but I don't want to live with her. My parents call Jess often. I often say hi, and try to be civil and supportive. But it seems like the only thing my parents can talk about is Jess, and how brave she is, and she isn't even here yet. We live in a 3-bedroom house, and my parents promised to move to a bigger one later this year. Recently, my parents broke the news to me that Jess will move into my room, and I can pick whether I want to share a room with Bro, or Jess. I don't want to share with either. My brother is messy, loud, and is your average 9-year-old boy, and Jess has night terrors and screams the house down, and it's enough having to open my house to her, but I value my privacy a lot and don't want her in my room, which is like my special place. I was crushed. I asked if we were still moving, and my parents were like, "We like this place and have no solid plan." I freaked out and was like, "You guys are forgetting you have another daughter and are too excited about the shiny new one to remember that the one you have has feelings and boundaries, and if you're changing everything I've ever known, at least I deserve to be listened to. If this is how life's going to be, I don't want to have a sister." Good to note, my room is big enough to have a wall put in, and my parents considered it a few years back. I would be happy with that. They refuse, even though we can easily afford it, because it is too much effort. My parents are offended that I'm not being welcoming towards my sister, and I'm offended that the life I knew is going to be turned upside down, and I'm not going to have the thing I value most, my privacy. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I bet your parents think that taking in Jess is such a kind thing to do. They can't possibly be wrong, and everyone needs to just get on board. However, you are a person and your feelings also matter. They are being really heavy-handed and not making any effort to make you comfortable. Can you ask them to attend family counseling before Jess arrives? If they refuse, do you have access to a social worker or someone as part of this process that you could talk to? Hearing from an independent professional that they need to consider your feelings might help them understand. Not the idiot, adopting an older child is hard, so hats off to your parents for that. But their first priority should be making sure you and your brother are comfortable, and just lumping you in a room together seems wrong. Your sister will be a lot of hard work, and she'll be put first in many scenarios from what I can tell. Put a wall up or move house, especially if you can afford it. No idiots here. Jess clearly has some severe trauma and your parents are amazing for taking her in. However, your feelings are completely valid and your home should be the place you feel safest and most comfortable. Your parents are being pretty unreasonable about the wall, though. Is that something you think they'll reconsider? Update: this blew up, enough to reach Jess. She called me and we had a good heart-to-heart. She was unaware of the situation, and felt really uncomfortable about it. We had a family meeting via Skype to explain to my parents why this was a bad idea, and showed them some of the comments in this thread. They apologized and they said they would try to improve their behavior. We asked to put up a wall, and they agreed. My father is currently watching a video on how to do it. I work at an office where I'm allowed to have a beard and long hair, but my manager is stringent on the no jeans policy. She frequently ensures that no one is wearing jeans and is wearing professional attire. Problem is, for the past few months that I've been here, the women in the office have always worn jeans. Tight, dark, professional-looking jeans, but jeans nonetheless. That is, until a few days ago. I love wearing jeans, and I've always felt I could make them professional too. I was complaining about it to a friend and coworker when my manager walked into the staff room. She said something basically confirming her stance on jeans. I said, well, the girls get to wear jeans. No, they don't. Then, my coworker, Amanda, walked in wearing jeans. I pointed that out. My manager confronted Amanda, telling her that she wasn't allowed to wear jeans. In the moment, Amanda appeared playfully mad at me. But I went over to her house last weekend, and she brought up the incident twice, again sort of playfully, but I think she may actually be mad. I apologized, saying I didn't want to ruin jeans for women but to prove that someone can look professional in jeans. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. And I have a really hard time wrapping my head around the people who are saying that you are an idiot. If this was reversed and all the men were wearing jeans and the women were told they could only wear professional attire, everyone would be out here with pitchforks. Not the idiot. You're breaking a stated rule and I point out the double standard and I'm the idiot? I don't think so. If the rule is there and being enforced, you need to follow it. Honestly, the biggest idiot is your boss. Why were they enforcing it with men and ignoring the women who were breaking it? You are the idiot. You saw how the women were getting away with it. You should have bought a pair of dark nice, not jeans looking jeans and see if you blended in. If you got crap then maybe you would have been justified, but you just screwed it up for everyone and now they probably all have to go buy new pants. Of course they are peeved. You were acting like a baby. If I can't have it no one can. Update. I'm surprised about the polarization. At work today, it wasn't bad. Only one other girl spoke to me, and she too was more playfully mad than anything. I do feel bad that I ruined jeans for the women, though perhaps one day I will work in a place where jeans will be permitted for all. Thank you for all of your input. My girlfriend, 21, has a very severe phobia of cold things. We live in England, so this is an issue for like half of the year. She refuses to touch anything that might be cold, including the floor with her feet in winter, door handles, walls, cold water, absolutely anything. She has to run a full bath of very hot water before she has a shower to make sure the floor isn't cold. She also will not eat cold food or drink cold drinks at any time of year. This means that she drinks almost entirely tea and coffee, with the occasional hot juice, meaning she's always anxious because of the sheer volume of caffeine she takes in. It's winter in the UK right now, so her phobia is in full swing. It's getting ridiculous to see her refusing to do literally anything because she might have to touch something cold. On Thursday, she left her slipper boots on the other side of the bedroom. She had socks on, but took them off when she got in bed, so she called in sick to work and stayed in bed all day. When I got back from work, I work 8 to 4, she woke up at about 11, so she waited about 5.5 hours. She was desperate for the toilet, really hungry, and distressed. Why didn't she call someone to help her? Her phone was on the window ledge so it would be cold. I told her that this situation is ridiculous, and she needs to get some therapy because she can't live like this, and it's really impractical for her to literally not go to work because of this. It's super annoying and I don't know how she intends to get through life like this. She was extremely upset and told me that I'm an idiot for not taking her seriously. She said she realizes this is ridiculous but she can't help it. I told her she could help it if she tried to get some help. Just to add, she is okay going outside in the cold air, but as usual won't touch anything cold. No idiots here, but calling her phobia ridiculous was insensitive, especially considering that's virtually the definition of a phobia, as opposed to a rational fear. It's more than super annoying, it's significantly disabling. Approach this like an illness, and not an annoying habit. Phobias are, by their nature, ridiculous. They're defined as irrational. Luckily, phobias are one of the most curable conditions, and usually pretty easily so. Find help for her. Call whatever and book her an appointment with a psychologist with experience dealing with phobias. Not for nothing, but your GF also lacks problem-solving skills. Take the warm blankets, reverse them and toss them on the floor so you're standing on the warm part was just against you, and walk them over to your slippers. Everyone's the idiot here. Not entirely happy with that rating but oh well. By calling the situation ridiculous you are belittling her but at the same time, which I feel like isn't necessarily you being an idiot but just your own inherent frustration. It is admittedly difficult to understand the extreme compulsions other people have, which is why you're not an idiot. On the other hand, she sounds like she really needs to go to therapy because it's taking over her life and impacts other people as well. I, 30, have been dating my boyfriend Rhett, 31, for 4 months. We live in a different town and he's not from here. He's an American living here. He usually visits on the weekends. This time I decided to visit his town and eat out at diner. Rhett was already there when I arrived at the diner. We talked some, checked the menu, then when it was time to order he pulled a small bell out of his jacket pocket, lifted it up then started shaking it. It produced a loud, annoying sound. My ears started hurting. I was so confused I asked what he was doing and he said that he was trying to get one of the waiter staff's attention. I said it was embarrassing and he should stop right then but he kept shaking it. I cannot begin to explain the looks we received from everyone. I demanded him to stop, but he said not till someone came and took our order. I threatened to leave the place and cancel dinner if he wouldn't, and he kept doing it. Someone came already, but I'd already gotten up, took my purse and started making my way out. He followed me and started arguing about walking out, but I told him that I couldn't take being embarrassed by him, and he got upset and said that he didn't get why I thought the bell was embarrassing. Explained that it was a perfect solution for no longer be forced to wait till someone shows up. I asked if it was acceptable to do this in America, and he said yes, because it's a free country and people there usually don't give a crap, but I said it's inappropriate and embarrassing here. He said I was being too sensitive and overreacted. He insisted we go back inside, but I refused. We ended up leaving. He kept on about how I ruined dinner by canceling it and offending him by acting like his behavior is shameful. I said I had a right to give an opinion on what he's done even if he thought what he was doing, but he basically told me to get off my high horse and stop calling his genius idea embarrassing. He's been sulking for days now and wants an apology. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe it's nothing where he lives, but here it's just unacceptable. Not the idiot. Yank here. I have never known anyone to carry their own bell to get the attention of waitstaff ever. That is rude and condescending. You shouldn't just walk out of the diner. You should walk out on the relationship. What kind of idiot does something like that? Where does he live in America? I have never seen anyone do that ever, and if they did, I think they'd get a talking to, or depending on the restaurant, asked to leave. Start ringing a bell for him every time you want his attention, even if he's busy or attending to something else, and see how he likes it. You're not the idiot, and I'd be breaking up with him if he thought it was appropriate to treat people like that. An American here who has and still does work service industry. When I was a waitress, if someone had done this, either they would have been asked to leave or I would have been fired for snapping at them and crushing that bell under my worn out feet. Oh, and upgrade, sweetheart. That man is, and his genius idea is disgusting.